Hey, so today in this worksheet, what we're going to do is combine some things, right? So we learned distributive property, we learned combining like terms, and today we're going to put them together. Now, on the top here, I've done some of the answers, and I think what I'd like you to do is just pause the video here and set a timer for about 5 minutes. Finish all of these up here on this top part, because it's just review, and then have someone come up and show their papers so that you guys can see if you agree on what the answers are. I've done some of them. You can copy those down and finish the rest. So go ahead and pause the video here. So I'm assuming you've paused it and we're moving on now. And let's go look at combining all of these steps together. And let's go ahead and start with 13. And again, this worksheet's going to be homework. What we don't finish in class, I expect you to work it tonight and bring it back tomorrow. So let's take a look at this. So we've got a distributive property, and it's going to follow up with a combining like terms. So I'm looking for those parentheses, right? There they are. So I know that I have to do the distributive property. I'm going to distribute that 3 to the m and the 3, not a 4, to the negative 4. And then don't forget about this term out here. It's still there, it's just not part of the distributive property. So I stick it out here like this. And now I'm going to multiply these to get rid of those parentheses. And you can actually skip this step later, those of you who already see what this does. And we would eventually skip this step and just come to what I have. It's 3m, negative 12, and 8m. And now we're in more combining like terms, right? These are my terms that I have. And what are the variable terms? The ones with the variables. So that's a variable term, that's a variable term, and the other one is the constant term, right? That's why we practice those vocabularies, that you see the difference of those. How do I combine like terms? Put the yellow bubbles together, put the blue bubbles together. So this is pretty easy. I just got 8 m's and 3 m's together, makes 11m and a negative 12. And I look like this, 11m minus 12, final answer. All right, let's take a look at number 14, and then we're going to dive down to the lower ones. Let's go over here to 14. And again, so we're going to do our distributive property first, putting the icing on the cake and on the muffins. Here's my frosting, is that negative 7. And so that shows up for both items, right? I'm going to frost two things, the cake and the muffins. Here's the cake, the 2a. Distributing it to everything in the parentheses would be our math talk, right? And distributing the negative 7 to a negative 1. That would be math talk, not cakes and muffins, right? And then out here, not an 11, what is it? That's right, a negative 11. And so these are the terms that I have. And now I just kind of combine this. This negative 7 times 2a became negative 14a, positive 7. Wait, why is that positive? Oh yeah, two negatives in the same term, in the same bubble. And this one, a negative 11. Okay, so these are my terms that I'm combining. And I combine the constant with the constant and the variables all alone. Nothing to combine on that. I put my yellow bubbles together, I put my blue bubbles together, and what do I get? Okay, the variable is by itself, and then I put a 7 and a negative 11 together. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I get a negative 4. So my final answer, negative 14a minus 4, and it looks like this. Give you a second to copy that. And then now let's go down to one of the bottom ones. I'm not going to go over the story problems yet. That'll be a later unit. But let's go ahead and try problem 22, because 22 has a lot in it, right? It's got multiple parentheses. Let's do number 22 way on the bottom, and then I'm going to let you tackle the rest of these on your own, I think. Okay, so there's the parentheses. And I have this happening twice, with this being a 9. And this one becomes real tricky, because say that number out loud. And if you said 5, you're wrong. It's not a 5. It's a negative 5. And that's what we're distributing. Because, and let's get your green out. Please do this. This is the term that has distributive property, and this is another term, right? And they're going to actually land up being two terms because we're distributing to everything in the oven. So I've got this 9 going to the 2V, and I've got the 9 going to a -3, and then I've got the -5 going to a V, 1V with an invisible 1, and I've got the -5 going to an 8. So this is everything I have. Those are those two distributive properties. Cake, muffins. Cake, muffins. And so now I'm going to multiply these out, right, to finish this distributive property, and then combine like terms. So 9 times 2V, 18V. 9 times -3, -27. Oh, we could sing this one, right? 9, 18, 27. That's where that comes from. Our -5V. When we multiply it times V, it's just itself. And this one here, 5s, we can sing that too. We like our 5s, right? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So I did 8 of them, right? Using my fingers. And so I get a -40 here. And now let's go circle these terms. What do we have? We have our constant terms and our variable terms. And that's what we're putting together. Here's our variable terms. They has a letter. And the others are constant terms, no variable, just a number. And that's what we put together. And we do our variables first, 18 and the -5, and this becomes, see, 13V and -27 and -40. They're both negative, right? So they're joining power. There's no fighting going on in this one, and it just becomes a -67. And so we have our final answer. Let me pull my paper over so you can see it. There. 13V -67. And that would be our final answer. All right, so I wish we could do more together, but you can watch the video again, help each other, bring things up onto the document camera, share your work, and have fun with this, all right? I'll see you tomorrow.